Hey guys, Blizzard Blast here. So today we're gonna be talking about the EU LCS split day one, summer split. It's gonna be exciting. I already watched it. It was pretty good. The different strategies, this new meta, it was pretty exciting. So I have just like all the teams that played today. I have kind of like a little summary what my thoughts about it were. So yeah, let's just get into it. So first we have Splice versus Team Vitality. So when I was thinking Splice versus Vitality, I was just thinking of the Heimer and Aatrox. Like, it was a super smart strategy for them because they would always have bot pushing and then Aatrox on the top, everybody getting help from Aatrox on the top, and they would always have to kind of worry about bot lane because the Heimerdinger is there, but they also had really good ward coverage of bot lane, so they weren't really able to get into there to help them. And they just like put a whole bunch of pressure bot lane, and then top lane they just funneled everything into top lane, and then top lane was just God, they couldn't do anything about top lane. Aatrox took off with that lead and they just could not do anything. Vitality could not do anything, and I think they played really well for that. But the only thing I did not like, or I could have, I wanted to see Vitality do better, is Suzuki. I think that's how you say it, Suzuki. I wanted him to hit more skill shots because he had a lot of opportunities to hit something and to make some crazy plays, but then he would just miss his bubble or miss his Q, so like no damage was applied. There's a time he got it on the other enemy 80 carry. I forgot what it was. Was it I think it was a Kaisa, I'm not sure. But anyways, like, he hit the enemy 80 carry and then he just obliterated them, and like there's nothing they could have done. And I just wish he hit more of those because honestly I felt like he missed a lot of them and he could have just made the game so much more easier than it already was. Next we have H2K versus Giants. So I'm looking at the draft pick, right? So this, I wrote this, I kind of like wrote a little summary while the game was going on, so like you'll see how my emotions and stuff changed during it. But I'm looking at the draft pick, right? And I feel like Giants lost the draft pick immediately because they have such a late game comp against a very early game team. And like they have the Karma, they had the gosh. See, I need to look this up. Wait a second. They had the Karma, they had the Soraka, and they had a Zoe, So, and then the enemy team, it's a very late game comp, and then I'm just like, Giants, what is this? You have a Azir, and you also have a Poppy, and then I'm just in my head like, I'm looking at this, and I'm just thinking, okay, well, obviously H2K has a better team comp right here, because what they're gonna do is they're just gonna dive in onto the Azir always, and then just like the enemy team will be so useless. But then as the game went on and on and on, I'm just like, H2K, when are we gonna see the freaking Nocturne ult? Like, I was so frustrated there because they made it harder than they need to. H2K made it so much harder than they need to. It just, oh wait, I totally forgot. H2K didn't even win. For some reason, I was thinking H2K won, but then I remember Betsy. That disconnect, I just remember now. The disconnect, and then, so I watched the replay. I remember, I watched the replay, and I was just like, there's no way. Betsy must have been like, oh shoot. Like, right when the pause. That's why I was super suspicious that, Steelback said, oh, I'm lagging, because I was just like, they probably paused to look at something. But then once I looked at the recording, they already Betsy was already heading bot lane, I mean towards mid lane to get the nexus, and then I'm just like, oh my gosh, I actually can't believe H2K didn't see that. It was so good. It was awesome. But I'm just kind of disappointed in H2K. They made it so much harder than they need to. 20 minutes in, maybe even 25, but within 25 minutes, not one Nocturne ult. And then you see Giants being super proactive with their Talia ultimates, with their Tom Kench ultimates. Like, they were trying to put so much pressure on the map, and they did good early game, but then they just kind of fell a little later because they just couldn't find the fights that they wanted. And I feel like the reason they couldn't do that is because they always tried to start a fight from one angle, which was the front. And then you have Tom Kench and Poppy always in the front, always getting poked by the enemy. But see, if Poppy went around and hit an ultimate or something to disrupt them, it would have been so good, because then he would push them into their side. So that's my review. That's how I feel about H2K versus Giants. I felt like it was such a sloppy, like the 1,000 year long Baron fight. Like, really, it was so sloppy. But in the end, Giants took it, and I kind of feel like they deserve it. They played so much more better in the early game, and H2K kind of they were just doing stuff. They weren't really kind of playing how their team comp was supposed to play, which is Shook goes in, I almost forgot his name. Shook goes in, and then after that, everybody else follows Shook and heals and shields him, which is kind of a meh theory. Like, I feel like if you had 2 tanks and then 2 supports, that could actually work really well. So like, maybe if you instead of having a Zoe, you had a Cho'Gath, that would be perfect, because then all you would have is just the tanks and stuff. But then Zoe's gonna stay kind of back because she can't dive. But anyways, that's how I feel. The next team is Shackle versus Unicorns of Love. This one, it was, I feel, I don't know what to say about this team comp, I should say. I felt like Unicorns of Love definitely had a better, I feel like Unicorns of Love took that match into their hand and just like grabbed it out of Shackle's hand. Like, it was just so perfect of Unicorns of Love. Unicorns of Love like totally had that match in their favor. But then that Cho'Gath stall took everything away. I felt like that was really the turning point, and it was the turning point in favor of Shackle. I feel like Shackle definitely just turned that game around from that fight, because after that, they just went straight down mid, super deep in mid. It was like the correct call. I was just like, what are they doing? They're just going straight down mid lane, and I'm just like, what's the matter here? How are they gonna just do that? But they definitely had that lead ever since they killed those 4. And I feel like it kind of shook Unicorns of Love, because in my opinion, 4 kills shouldn't mean the match instantly turning unless they're super close. And I didn't feel like Unicorns of Love was that close to Shackle, but I don't know. Next was G2 versus Rocats. G2 did a great job of forcing Rocats to react bot lane while bot lane had priority, and then Jankos just kept on taking farm and slowly putting Mentos, and he couldn't hit level 6. That's a really good thing. But Rocat's support, like, Rocat, why would you do that? Like, the Rakan went in for no absolute reason, just trying to get something, and it was just like, why? Why would you, like, you have a Xayah there. I'm pretty sure Zaya's not gonna follow up on that. Like, the Heimerdinger fiddle was just too strong. He has a point and click CC, a silence, and then the Heimerdinger stun, and then he could just put on a Mega Turret. Like, that should never be a thing. But I feel like they executed that game really well, and they just grabbed it and just didn't let it go. The last game, Fnatic versus Misfits. Fnatic, what are you doing? You basically lost. You lost the game in draft pick. When I saw Reckless getting put on Janna, I was just like, this game's over. And there's no hope at all. No hope. And then even when they picked the Draven, I was just like, really? Why? Draven was last pick, so they could have not known that was coming. But when I saw him lock in the Janna, I was just like, that's not gonna work. See, I feel like in theory that was a good plan. There's nothing to contest bot lane. It was just the league of bot lane, and that became the league of Draven. Like that was it. That was it. Draven just took that game. And I was just like, why? Why? You guys better be punished for this. You guys are gonna get punished for this because you picked a Janna and another support against a Draven. Like, you guys didn't know, but I feel like that should be expected. And then you pick a support mid laner to funnel the farm mid lane, right? So I was thinking, okay, they're gonna pick 2 support bot lanes so they can also hyper feed this Kai'Sa, because then also he would be getting bot lane farm. So they would path jungle camps, mid lane, maybe try to gank bot lane, and then get the CS from bot lane. You know, I was thinking that was going to happen, but it didn't happen. So I felt all the bot lane CS just kind of got wasted. But I felt like they just needed another person to have really good carry potential. So yeah, that's kind of it. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. That's my kind of recap of the EU LCS, and tomorrow there's gonna be another EU LCS plus the NA LCS, so be looking forward to those. Yeah, so if you guys liked, hit that like button and also subscribe for more of this. Make sure you guys always have a blast.